screaming into the mic, you know?
Sorry, I get excited. My bad. Elevation Nation. We are throwing it all the way back to where it first began. Two friends, brothers. Honestly, I look up to them even though they're the same age as us. They are an inspiration for entrepreneurs all across the world. We have on the next gen fellas. Dylan, Justin, almost called you Kobe because in your thing, Dylan, you have it as Kobe for some reason. Why not? Let's be cocky. Let's think we're the greatest of all time. I'm with it. We have a really special conversation coming to you, Elevation Nation, tonight. We're going to get deep. We're going to get introspective, all the normal stuff. But really, today and tonight, we're going to focus on an entrepreneurial mindset. No better guys to talk to about that than the next gen fellas. Boys, welcome to Elevation Nation. We are so honored that you are here.
Sam, Parker, thank you both for having us. We are tremendous fans of yours. We're grateful to be here with you tonight. And all I'm saying is every time we get together, it's a good time. So we're going to have a blast.
This is going to be awesome. I mean, it's the 119th episode, Sam. Am I right? 119? So we've had a few conversations, but I know who's had more podcast interviews than us two. I think it's you two, which is crazy. Elevation Nation, you guys are in for a treat. Sam and I bring the energy, but Justin and Dylan bring so much more energy. So can't be more excited for the conversation. Guys, it is the Elevation Nation podcast. And because it's the Elevation Nation podcast means that you got to give Elevation Nation an elevator pitch. Who are you guys? Justin, you want to start?
Thank you guys for having us. Great to be here. Pumped for the show. And beginning of my elevator pitch, I'm going to throw it to Dylan to give the elevator pitch.
Well, that's amazing because you know how my elevator... No, I'm just playing, guys. Shout out to the late, great Kobe, just really quickly. That's not my elevator pitch, but I have this little basketball if you're watching on video. That got me in the mood for putting the name as Kobe there. Sam, Parker, you both are on a mission to be your best, right? Above all, you're kind human beings. You're compassionate, you care, and you want to be in the driver's seat of your own lives, right? Fair to say, I got some head nods, yeah. That's what Justin and I are here to help young people do. We want to help young people take control, take complete ownership, as we like to say, of their path. That does not mean that everybody has to start a company. That can be as an entrepreneur or as a creator or an artist or a founder. There are a million different ways that it manifests. But we have the true honor and blessing of leading Next Gen HQ, where we get to help young people get closer to their dreams at both work and in life. And if that sounds like something you want to learn more about, well, hop off the elevator and go to nextgenhq.com so you can hit us up.
That is a beautiful elevator pitch for you guys and what you're doing at Next Gen HQ. And I want to go into a quick anecdote here to kick things off. It was, 3 years ago now? 3 years ago, I believe.
Was it like 2.5?
2.5?
Right before the pandemic. Oh, man. Yeah.
And Parker and I showed up at this incredible event, conference, movement, and we go in with these big smiles on our faces, excited to meet like-minded people, and this was the Next Gen Summit. And we walk around this event. Parker and I were excited to share our first idea for a company, which was called Hired You, where we were helping young people with getting jobs and internships and things like that. And we walked around, and we realized, holy shit, we have a lot more work to do. But more importantly, we felt momentum. We felt inspired. And that is what truly kicked off our transition into Elevation Nation. It helped us combat our imposter syndrome that we were both having and put us in the driver's seat to help us realize really what we wanted to do. And I think what's beautiful about what you guys are doing at Next Gen HQ is when you're in the driver's seat, you can turn left, you can turn right, you can turn around, you can go straight, you can merge. There are a lot of different things you can do in the driver's seat. And it's one of the things that I think is most important for throughout your life, but specifically in your 20s. We are told nonstop from society, from our parents, from our schools, that we need to be one thing, a certain cookie cutter member of society, whether that's your family wants you to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it may be. And what I love about what you guys are doing in your mission is that you are allowing people, not only allowing, but encouraging people to follow their dreams and figure out how they can be the best versions of themselves. And Parker and I are on a very similar mission, perhaps a little bit more on the mental side of it and less action-based, but about you feeling good about who you are, having the right mindset, and wanting to elevate and grow each and every day. And I think that's probably why us four get along so well, is we have similar missions. And I'm really excited to just get into this conversation with you guys, and I wanted to thank you for helping Parker and myself really get to where we are now. So with that being said, we're going to get into a little bit more about you two as individuals, because I think, we brought you both on because you both are electric together, but I don't want to deny the fact that you both are two different people. I think Parker and I sometimes get grouped together when we speak and do things together, and Parker is the optimistic one and I'm the pessimistic one. And we each have our own personalities, and I want to acknowledge that with you two. So, Dylan, you gave your elevator pitch for Next Gen, but I would love if maybe, Justin, you can kick us off with just who are you at your core as a 20-something-year-old young man in New York City? Like, let's go beyond Next Gen for a minute.
Love you guys. Thank you very much for that. That was super sweet, super meaningful, super heartwarming. Dylan and I are very different people, no question. Dylan is a great spokesperson. He's an ambassador, a diplomat. He's great at basketball. He's good looking. He's cooler than I am. I like to think of myself more of an administrative assistant role. That is really the role that I have found myself playing, and I've been actually asking in the internal rebrand for that type of role. I think I have some key skills that are helpful for me, my 20s, to help me administer the plans, and that's really my swim lane. I am 25, and Dylan just turned 36, and I am living in New York, and I'm blessed to have a good family and a good job that I care about, and keep my head down and doing the work and trying to build this billion-dollar company with my man and the guy I look up to, DG Stash. Dylan, what do you think?
I think that's the nicest. You're too much. You're too kind. For anybody out there who does not have the ability to pick up on humility, Justin is the most humble guy you'll meet. It is an honor learning from him. I think he is the most creative person I know. I think he's also one of the most genuinely passionate people out there that you'll ever meet and come across. He's also one of the most intelligent. I think that I'm pretty smart. I think Sam, Parker, pretty smart. Justin's he's super smart. But he's also kind and caring and motivates everybody who knows him to be their best. Not forgetting about the fact that you got to love who you are today. And that's something that I'm sure we all resonate with. But personal development, self-development, we're junkies. And I look up and learn a ton from this man, JL.
I just love that banter right there, going back and forth between Justin, Dylan, two co-founders, right? Started a company together for how many years ago when that was started, but two best friends. And when Sam asked, could you guys tell a little bit more about yourself? I think Sam was implying that, Justin, you were going to talk about Justin, and Dylan, you were going to talk about Dylan. But they were talking about each other. Just amazing. I thought that was just like super incredible to hear and be a part of.
Interesting for us, I think it's cool to note that unlike, and I'm curious to hear your guys' story and other people listening to this, Dylan and I were not friends and then started a business. Dylan and I started a business and then became friends. And I think that plays a big role in the texture of our relationship, in that we didn't kind of settle into this friendship groove and then we're like, hey, why don't we do this thing together? We were, who do you want to go against? Who do you want to partner with? The best. So you find the best, and then it allows us to grow and support each other. So key nuance to the story.
So let's talk more about that. Let's throw it back. Let's throw it all the way back, the beginning of Next Gen. Maybe probably even before Next Gen was even a thought. How'd you guys meet? Where was that? Where did that even come? Did you guys meet at like a party? Did you meet at another entrepreneur conference? How did Next Gen come to be? And let's talk through that a bit.
Such a fun time. We'll get into a heated debate with a mutual friend of all four of ours. But we met, to answer your question, Parker, in a garage. Very Silicon Valley-esque, right? We're basically, the good old...
I just finished Steve Jobs' memoir.
That was us.
Whatever you want to call it.
Not us.
And,
they use code names.
Who's Woz and who's Jobs? That's that'll be the shoddy neither. But the story goes back to two friends. I'll credit them both here. Although depending on who's telling the story, one name might get mentioned more. Shout out to Adam Hornick and Benny Kotler, two mutual friends of Justin and mine. Benny also, full disclosure, went to school with Parker and Sam, was part of the recruiting effort to get these two to Next Gen Summit way back in the day. And I had gone to sleepaway camp with both of them. Justin went to high school with both of them. And I was visiting Adam for the weekend, and he invited me to join him and his friends at a garage house party, because that's what you do when you're 17, right? You hang out in a garage and you're pretty cold, and maybe you partake in other activities. But and I met Justin. I went down the line, shook a few hands, and in one version of the story, you would think that there were fireworks, right? Picture like the slipper fits when, the Cinderella story. It wasn't like that. It was a great conversation. It was tremendously engaging. And I knew that this guy was legit. This guy was cool. He was smart. We were thinking about the same things. He was applying to the same schools that I was looking at. But that was it. I think we added each other on Facebook. Actually, I know we added each other because Justin confirmed that a few years later, that party in December. But nothing really came of it. And we just had this mutual respect that I think time allowed to foster. And we did not see each other. We did not speak for probably about 3-4 months until I was back out on the island, on Long Island, and for a basketball tournament, and joined the same friends, Adam and Benny, for a fundraising event, Relay for Life, at their high school, Syosset High School. Met Justin again, remembered the mutual respect, remembered the fondness for him, and we started walking the track to raise the laps, to raise the funds. And each lap was supposed to be a donation you made. And really, I couldn't tell you much about the specifics of what we spoke about, but I can tell you that we spent hours on end just walking, us two. I think we said hi to Benny and Adam, but then we just enjoyed each other's company.
What was it about that? What were you guys talking about? Were you talking business? Were you talking about like what was hot in, that specific year? Like from a business standpoint, from a sports standpoint, like what brought you guys together? Because I'm sure it wasn't just like this energy. It was like, magnet bringing us together. There's had to have been something. Come on.
JL, what do you remember?
Dylan and I have a really good banter framework in that Dylan, one of his strongest skills by far is he's able to make really, really high quality decisions really quickly with pretty low information intake. And it is one of the superpowers by far. And I didn't know it at the time. Now I know it. So what I do now is I like to prepare like a couple of pretty big questions or frameworks for Dylan. And then we just kind of riff. Like I'm like, all right, DG, if you had $1 million and you need to reach this goal, would you hire this marketing person or this salesperson? I just come with these scenarios, and Dylan was able to intake them and just make the right decision. So I think it was probably some of that. It's like, hey man, I'm thinking about this big idea regarding should we go to college or not? Like, what's your take for young people, college or no college? He's like, well, the obvious decision is this. He's really good at like finding the better route. Sometimes he's very politically correct, so you have to qualify for that oftentimes in the answers, kind of cut through that. But I think that's probably what it was. Like I was young and thinking of big ideas. I'm sure Dylan was at the time, and at that time I decided not to go to college right away. So I was kind of like going through a quarter life crisis, trying to figure out who am I, what am I good at, what am I doing, and I had nobody that really resonated with that around me. Everybody was scared enough, just in general, about things that weren't open to having the conversations. But Dylan was intellectual enough but high EQ enough to I think grasp the concepts and was also thinking about it himself. So that was cool. I asked him, like, hey man, do you think we're supposed to just like put our heads down and live a miserable life and die, or is there something more here? It's like, no man, I think there's something more here. So I think he was just open to life in general.
Justin, I want to highlight a little point you made there, which was you talked about this quarter life crisis, right? When you decided, to take a break, not go straight to school, you obviously were thinking probably well beyond your years in terms of being that introspective. Like you said, everyone around you was probably either too scared or wanted to be in the comfort zone and just go to school, right? Like, again, going back to my
most
first
people
rant.
don't even have the option, Sam. Some people don't have the option. Like, most of my friends, you're going to freaking school. You get in, you're going.
Yeah.
How many friends do you have that just didn't go to school?
Yeah, society, family, parents, they tell you and they push us in a certain direction. And obviously you had this ability to, take a step back and look at the bigger picture, and that came a little bit younger than most. I would argue that is what kind of started Elevation Nation for myself and Parker. And I wanted to talk a little bit about your 20s and what you've seen with friends and people around you, whereas they kind of have that quarter life crisis, 21, 22, 23, right when they graduate, they go out into the real world. Again, the inspiration for Elevation Nation is you did all this work. You were told to do all these things. You were told exactly what's next. The GPS has been talking in your ear, saying turn left, turn right, and you were in the driver's seat, kind of, although someone was telling you where to go. And then that GPS shuts off. You're sitting in the driver's seat, and you don't know which way to turn, and you don't know how to put your foot on the gas. And I don't know if you guys have seen that as well, where you feel like a lot of your friends and the people around you, like, yeah, you guys were mature behind your years, and like, Parker and I maybe as well a bit. Like, there are a lot of people that listen to this that are struggling, right? And they listen to our stories, and they're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You guys are leaps and bounds beyond, or you guys have companies and podcasts, whatever. It's like, so I'm trying to just bring it back to a little bit more of a reality here of like, how have you seen some of our friends struggle and then deal with this awkward quarter life crisis?
I want to highlight really quickly the weight of what you're talking about, Sam and Parker here, and use Justin as an example to do so. It's so hard. It's extremely challenging to see your friends, the people that you care about, the people you look up to, parents, friends, family, teachers, whomever it is, do one thing and forget about even doing something else, just questioning that one thing. That is so challenging, right? Imagine everybody's swimming downstream, and I'm not telling you got to swim upstream, but just asking, okay, should I also swim downstream? Like that cognitive dissonance to be able to operate with these people, but also still question the patterns that you're seeing, that's daunting. And if you didn't realize how, let's say, ahead of his time and mature for his age Justin was based on his responses thus far, he did this at 17 years old. He made that decision at 17 as, top of his class at one of the best schools, got into Wharton, the business school at the University of Pennsylvania, as good as it gets, right? Checked all the boxes, but yet still that path, he thought maybe there's something greater. Let me go explore that, pull that thread. And that is a scary process. You're also alone, right? There's no one to hold your hand through this. He didn't have an older sibling that had done this exact thing. I guess maybe there's a related piece we could talk about, but he had no playbook, right? He was defining it. And what you're talking about here, Sam, is applying that concept at scale in life. And it's challenging. And I think at a large part, what we believe is one of the core value adds of Next Gen HQ, of our Momentum membership, is a community of like-minded people who are there to understand and push you to continue on your path. Not that it's what I think is best for you, but if you feel it's what's best for you, I'm just gonna tell you I see you, I appreciate you, and keep going. And that's scary, man. That's scary, but a worthwhile journey. At least that's what we all believe, right?
Do you guys think that our parents grew up this way? The thought of, I can do something differently. I can go against the grain. My parents, I think their parents told them what to do, and they didn't go against the grain. My mom, she got a good job in New York City after college. She got married to my dad. My dad was a lawyer. Kind of just went on. Parents were like happy. They were happy. What's different about the next gen world, us, the next generation, compared to, let's say, our parents' parents?
The key, difference, but we don't really acknowledge it because we're living in it, is that we grew up around technology. So we grew up with unlimited access to information. Our parents didn't know these careers existed at all. My dad had no idea. My mom had no idea. It was a smaller world and smaller life. We grew up with everything around us. It's the biggest pro in one hand, because the young people are more ambitious and creative and want to have more impacts and are more connected, and we have all these amazing benefits. It's also the largest con. It's the most anxiety-producing generation in history. We haven't seen anything like it. Obviously, the work you guys are doing is really focused on this. So with all this information, we see a million different paths available to us on our iPhone, but it also now allows us to start comparing ourselves ad infinitum to all of the other paths. It's the key distinction. We don't realize there was a world before this, but it's scary, man. Core thesis. It's really hard out there.
It is hard out there. It is. And, a lot of the times people listen to, what Parker and I say in our podcast, and I'm sure a lot of people look up to you guys, Justin and Dylan, and what you do. And I appreciate you guys getting a little vulnerable and introspective, because whether we like it or not, because I bought a microphone with Parker and I talk into it every week, and, you guys are more legit and have a lot going on, but we're quote unquote in the public, right? And people listen to what we say. And a lot of the times, to your point, Justin, we paint this picture of amazement and satisfaction and achievement, and we don't necessarily peel back a couple layers. And I'm going to say a big stereotype here, especially as 20-something-year-old young men. We don't peel it back and sit with our boys and say, yeah, man, I might look like I have everything going on. I have a sick job, Big Four consulting. I have a podcast, but I don't know what I'm doing. Am I supposed to be podcasting? Should I go to culinary school and go be a chef? Maybe I should start a citrus farm, right? When do you actually take a step back and critically analyze all these different options, right? Justin, we have all this information now with technology in front of our faces, all these careers, and all I'm seeing on social media is kids buying and flipping NFTs. I'm like, damn, maybe I should do that, right? And there's a lot of weight that comes with all this knowledge now, and it's scary and intimidating to all these young people that are out there that are quote-unquote normal or following a more normal path. And I empathize with all the people that feel like they're struggling, and just know, just because we're talking on a podcast, that does not mean we have it all figured out. You are not alone in some of the struggles that you're facing each and every day.
It's so funny. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about what they wanted to do in their next job. They didn't like their job at the time, and they were like, yeah, I go online and I just look at LinkedIn and all the job postings, and it's overwhelming because I want to do it all, and I don't know what the right thing to do is, let alone know if I'm actually going to get it. But there's just so much out there now and so much to do, whether that is in a job or not even a job. What hobbies should I get involved in? What food should I eat? What people should I interact with? How about what city I should live in? Literally, we have all these options at our disposal. And as a young adult, just in your 20s, like Sam was saying, it's just hard. It's hard. So I'm curious, what do you guys do yourselves to kind of oh my God, I just fucking washed that word, but to break down those thoughts and, kind of give yourself a little more direction, and then maybe one person can talk personally, and then the other can talk about how you guys help others through that.
You both are awesome, and I speak on behalf of your listeners when I say thank you for being real. Key theme that we've unearthed: life is really hard, and it's okay, right? You're good. Life sucks sometimes. Life's great sometimes. It's challenging. You don't really know which way's up. Do I put on a blue shirt today or a red shirt? Do I love the analogies you gave. Do I eat this or that? Do I live in this city, that city? I spoke with the founder.
Take a liver supplement or not take a liver supplement?
Do I eat the liver or the brains? Which organs of the cow are the most nutrient packed? I spoke to a founder this morning, a friend of mine, and I asked him how he's doing. He was like, it's hard, man. It's hard. And he just closed his biggest deal, huge win. This guy's the man, building a sweet company, 30 plus team members, really cool. genuine person. And he was honest. He said, it's hard. And I looked at him and I said, I get it. I hear you. You're doing awesome though, right? And sometimes you just need to really feel that. So the number one tip, Parker, to answer your question, that I would advise everybody, and I say this not to tell you I have it figured out, because I'm far from it, but to love yourself, to feel that compassion. If you had caught me 6 months ago, I would have told you that my goal is every single day to get better. And I don't think that is not part of my daily or weekly or monthly goals. It still is. I want to grow and get better, but not at the expense of foregoing loving who I am today at this very moment and knowing that it's okay, right? I'm good enough. My flaws and all, my shortcomings, my wrong decisions, I'm good enough. I'm great. I'm doing awesome. And that's the yin and the yang. That's the dichotomy of life, where every single day I wake up and I want to be my best. I want to get better. I want to put up my max on the bench press. I want to host the best meeting, best town hall, be my best CEO, my best son, brother. But I also want to love the shortcomings when I don't get it, when I don't hit it out of the park, when I struggle with that last rep. That's cool because I'm in the game and I'm putting the work in. And I want to be someone who takes action. I want to be a man of action, right? As long as I'm doing that, as long as I'm waking up every day and giving my all, it's okay, no matter what happens. And that's the piece that everybody should feel like they control and that they judge themselves upon.
I love that. I'm in the game. The game started and you're playing. And a game doesn't just go one way. Everyone knows there's a lot of ups and downs, quarters, halves, final shots. It's always, Kobe. What about you, Justin? What do you think to that question?
Dylan and I like to say, if you're in the game, you're on our team. If you're in the game, you're on our team. If you're not in the game, we'll get in the game, then you can be on our team. And who doesn't want to be on our team? Our team is winning. You want to win, you come join our team. High level, Next Gen HQ, mission, help the next generation, us, the next generation, win at work and at life. What is winning? Winning equals getting what you want. That's what winning is. What is success? It's getting what you want. So what does that mean? You got to figure out, what do I want? Who do I want to be? How do I get there? How do I overcome the obstacles? Big thesis, big idea. Life is hard. We've spoken about it. Our secret ingredient, secret recipe, redacted from the film, is we give you community, education, resources, mentorship. We deliver it to you. That allows you to overcome obstacles, feel like you have momentum, win at work, win at life, and then help other people along for the ride. That's the name of the game. It's a pretty secret, sick recipe, and we're hiring actively across marketing, sales, engineering, and more engineering at nextgenhq.com. New York City-based, remote okay, technology-driven, impact-oriented organization with incredible founders. nextgenhq.com, hiring, competitive salary, ownership included, healthcare benefits. nextgenhq.com.
You put a microphone in front of this guy, all of a sudden this turned into a
Should have been warned.
radio infomercial.
Disclaimer.
But I heard someone else's voice oozing out of your vocal cords, Justin, and that is a former guest of Elevation Nation, Rich Keller. I heard a little bit of some secret sauce, some messaging, some get in the game that Rich preaches so much. So I just want to give him a shout out for being connected to us through Next Gen. Again, we wouldn't be here without you guys, but I think it's important. And you know, Justin, obviously, Next Gen as a whole, Next Gen HQ is helping empower the next generation of young people to, again, be in the driver's seat. And then, Dylan, to your point about life being hard, it is hard. We're in a very strange time. And while our life is easier than most, it's still difficult. And it's all relative and based on the perspective that you're in. And I think it's important that we all recognize that. To get into the driver's seat and to take control of your life takes asking some pretty heavy, deep, introspective, big questions and looking at yourself in the mirror and trying to figure out who you are, what you want, and how to get there. AKA the 3 parts of mental fortitude that what Parker and I are obsessed with, which is self-awareness, vision, and accountability. And I think, again, there are vast similarities between our two missions and what we want to do. Perhaps ours is a little bit on the step before you then get into the driver's seat is, figuring out who you actually are at your core and in your gut. And next gen empowers you then to take action and to hold yourself accountable on the visions that you're setting out for yourself. So I love, again, what we both are doing. I do have an interesting question that popped into my mind. I'm going off the script here, little ad lib. Parker brought up our parents' past generations, right? You guys aren't called Past Gen HQ. You're called Next Gen HQ, the next generation of people that are really going to change the world. Do you think that because we have all this technology and knowledge in front of us that our lives are infinitely harder and like maybe less fulfilling or less easily fulfilled than prior generations? And I'll give an example. I have a beautiful grandmother. Her name's Grandma Louise. We love her. She's about 4'10". And I was talking to her the other day, just trying to learn from our elders. And she was mentioning she went to Purdue and she had a home economics major as her degree. And she was like, yeah, I went to college to find a husband, to find a Jewish husband. That was the goal. Looking back on it now, I was like, what the hell, Grandma? Like, didn't you want to be empowered and be and do all these things? Back then, that was not in the cards. It was, you go here, you find a husband, someone that has a good job, you raise a beautiful family, and that brings you fulfillment and success. And she doesn't feel like a failure. She feels like she hit it out of the park. She's had a wonderful life. So my question to you guys is, looking at our prior generations, are they faced with less of a overwhelming burden than the next generation of young people have in front of them now?
Shout out to your grandma. I hope to one day get to welcome her to Next Gen Summit, because as we love to say at Next Gen HQ, the next generation is a mindset that everybody from Rich Keller to Sam's grandma in her 80s, God bless, can tap into. Also 8-year-olds, call us up, come to the summit. I'm a sports guy, if you didn't know from the Kobe analogies yet. So I'm going to use a sports reference. Dwayne Wade recently was interviewed, and he was asked who the GOAT, the greatest of all time, is. And he had what I think is the answer to your question, Sam, as his response. He didn't know he was answering your question, but he'll watch this, he'll listen, and he'll then find out. He said, well, who are you asking? Are you asking someone who's watching basketball today? Because the answer is LeBron James. Or are you asking someone who's 50, 60 years old who watched basketball in the 80s and 90s? Because the answer is Michael Jordan. Or are you asking an 80 or 90 or 100-year-old? Because the answer is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain or Russell or a million other older guys. And the point he's making is that it's all relative, and you can't compare generation to generation that way. It'd be impossible for me to tell you if she made the right decision relative to today's standards, right? And I think that's okay. I think it's almost like a sigh of relief type of moment, right? Like, oh, oof, don't have to worry if I'm doing as well as grandma or my parents, because it's about how do you feel given the circumstances that you're dealt, right? And I think oftentimes, to the comparing theme that we've talked about a bunch here, it's a no-win situation. Looking at Dylan versus the world, I'm never going to be the smartest person. I'm never going to be the best CEO. I'm never going to be the best, most athletic, best basketball player. Never when I look to the world. But was I better today than yesterday? Right. That's the theme that I really want to emphasize. And it comes through experience, right? You got to get out there. I'm a big believer in that. Putting the work in on your own is great, but getting out there and trying and failing is really where the magic happens. But shout out to Dwayne Wade for making an appearance on Elevation Nation, baby. That's what it's about.
Dwayne Wade and Grandma Louise in the same anecdote. Never thought that was going to happen. I love it. Beautiful.
And Kareem. I got a little deep introspective question. Another one. Sorry. That's how it goes on the Elevation Nation podcast. So, you guys talk with entrepreneurs all day, whether they're working in a big corporation and they're setting the standard for the way that this person does a certain thing within a company, or they're starting their own company, whether they're 10 years old or 70 years old, whatever it is. But you guys are there at the forefront, putting yourselves out there every single day, providing that momentum. What is it about providing momentum that just gets you up every single morning and just gets you energized to literally get other people energized? Like, what is it? I mean, you guys been doing this for how long now? At some point, you would think like,
10 years.
10 years.
Pretty nuts. What have you done name any hobby that you've had for 10 years, Steve.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
It's been a long time. It's super fun. I mean, it's super fun. You know what's fun? You know, people are like, how do I find my passion? You know, everybody asks me, how do I find my passion? Well, I don't know, man. Why don't you check under your couch? It's not a lost wallet. You don't find your passion. That myth is horrible. You don't find your passion. You know what feels good when it comes to being passionate? Getting good at stuff, accomplishing meaningful goals. That feels good. You can get passionate about that. Getting better, having an impact, doing the work. That feels really good. That is what you can be passionate about. So I'm fired up by what Dylan and I are doing. We ran our business 10 years old. For 8 of the 10 years, it was an events business. I hate events. It was an events business. I hate events. It's not because I'm so passionate about events that it's the greatest job of all time. But Dylan and I are winning now. Next Gen is sick. We're chasing our dreams. I'm not a billionaire yet, but we're on the way. We're doing the work. I'm having a freaking blast out here. You don't have to like what you're doing. You know what you should like? The process, the journey, the long game.
I love that. It is all the journey. Because you know what? We've talked about this before, Sam, so many times, right? Like, what happens when you get that big goal? It's amazing. You celebrate. Things are great. You throw that big party. Maybe you hang out. You're celebrating for a week, whatever it is. And then one day you wake up and you're like, what next? That was temporary. What next? Life just goes on and it just keeps going. So I love that point, Justin. It's all about the process, because without the process, first of all, you're not getting to the major goal. And secondly, that's where it's made. The challenges that you'd overcome, those little wins, they all build up to a big win, and then boom, you get that big win. And the fun is starting all over again. Just keep going. Well, not starting all over all the time, but.
Love it. That was beautiful. Well said. Guys, I want to go into a new segment we have on Elevation Nation here. It's a rapid fire segment. We didn't prep you. You're not ready. Too bad. We're going to go into it anyway. We're going to start with you, Dylan. Favorite book of all time? I hope there's a shameless plug here, but if there's not, I will do it for you later. Go ahead.
My favorite book of all time. Oh my goodness, there's so many. I'm gonna give you a few. And
3. Let's 3 interchangeably.
Okay.
They don't matter if they're first or third.
I'm gonna start with a shameless plug that we released today. It's called Now That's Momentum. Justin and I have the honor of publishing this book for you, listener. It's going to teach you what you need to be successful at work and in life, how you can cultivate the entrepreneurial mindset, and then take the next book suggestions and actually make something beautiful with them and put them into practice. That's what it's about. All right, book recommendation number 2. I'm going to steal one of Justin's, put him, in a little bit of a bind. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Oh my goodness, guys! If you haven't read it, it's written by Sam and Parker here. So amazing book. And the third is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, which is a book that you can read multiple times and learn something new each time. One of the most meaningful and sorrowful and challenging but rewarding reads I've ever put my hands on.
Those are some incredible books. Again, book number 1. Make sure it just got released yesterday, right? 23 hours ago. Today? Was it today? I saw a post. It said 22 hours on LinkedIn. I wasn't sure. Okay. Guys, no quicker time than the present to get your hands on this damn book. Now, if you're enjoying the conversation that we had, just imagine these two talking to way cooler, more famous people, learning from them in book form. Yeah. All right. If that doesn't sell you, go nextgenhq.com to learn more and perhaps secure your own copy.
So I already own Man's Search for Meaning, and now that's Momentum, because I pre-ordered it like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it is. But it's on the Kindle, and I'm now a physical buyer of books, which is very interesting. And I just bought the other one, so it'll be here in 2 days, and now it's going to sit on my bookshelf until I finish Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, which is, honestly, I'm already like 40 pages through, and I read it for a day. Justin's like waiting, like, oh, let me tell me my book. I mean, he's got all the books behind him.
Go ahead, Justin. You have permission.
Okay, here's my favorite books. Forget about your favorite books. Here's just a tip on reading in general. It doesn't matter what you're reading as long as you're reading. There's this myth that you're taught in school that everybody's going to love reading, but then you hate reading because you read all the stuff that's not interesting. The key is just to be reading. You're reading a book. Wow, this is no longer interesting. You put it down. You pick up the next book right away. If you just get into the habit of reading, then you just find what you're interested in. All of a sudden, you've read 40 books, and it's been like 3 weeks. That's the key of how to read. Just only read what you're interested in, then reading is fun, then you read more, then you're a billionaire. At least that's how I think the plan looks.
That sounds about right to me.
I usually read like 6 books at a time, Justin. I'm always going back and forth. I'm like, I don't want to read this book about meditation. I want to read this book about cheese. I want to whatever it is. I always have something that feels an interest. And if you just
Parker,
get in the
you're
mood,
actually so good. You read 2 books literally at once, one in your left hand and one in your right. I believe that's the new technique you're trying.
New skill.
It's quite impressive. Justin, did you want to plug any books, man?
No, I plugged the tip of how to read.
Got the tip. We got the tip. Okay,
use that
amazing.
Tip to read our
Love
new
it.
book. Now that's Momentum on nextgenhq.com, and you can refer engineers to come work for us as well. Equity, healthcare, mission-oriented firm. Nextgenhq.com. Great founders. Good mission.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
All right. Next rapid fire. I feel like that wasn't rapid the past one, but it's okay. If there's one industry to quit your job, you quit your job right now, what is the one industry that you go into?
We have a niche. It's called personal and professional development for young entrepreneurs and leaders. It's a massive $1 trillion market opportunity. And I would quit your job and come work for our firm, where you can be an entrepreneur and have an incredible opportunity to really be in the driver's seat in life and have massive impact. I'm serious about the answer. There's a million ways to make money. I think that a misnomer that I had when I was young was that there's only a couple of industries. You got to get in the right industry. There's so many ways to make money. So many ways to make money. It's not about how do I make money. It's what is the right, there's a product market fit. What's the right self market fit? What is the market that you're meant to maybe compete in? And how do you know what you're passionate about? It's just what you do, and then you get good at it. That's what you're passionate about. It's a long-winded answer. Find anything you're interested in. Do it. By doing it, you become good at it. By becoming good at it, you become a billionaire. That is the name of the game. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game.
And you don't find your passion under your couch. That's not where you find it. If you need help finding it, go to nextgenhq.com.
Kobe?
Or elevationnation.io. We can help you too.
Well,
you're more than welcome.
Maybe Dylan has an industry.
Dylan,
or
you got an industry?
Type of thing that he's high on these
This
days.
This is too good. Well, if you're 6'11", go play basketball. That's clearly a theme I pulled on. But otherwise, Sam, what you just said at the end, Parker, you guys are hired. Come on board. We're hiring for marketing as well. Go to nextgenhq.com, as Sam and Parker just told you, and submit your application and use partner code Elevation Nation, and you bypass the first round interview. You go straight to the second round interview coming from these two.
Love that.
It's beautiful.
Sam,
all right.
I know you got one more.
Yep, we got one more. Okay. What is one thing people don't know about you that would probably surprise them? Dylan, you want to start us off? I mean, you did just hold up a very interesting bottle. I bet people don't know much about that.
Okay.
Was that not Pellegrino? Or
this bottle is
beef
Perrier.
liver.
Perrier.
Oh no, Perrier.
I'm a very curious biohacker. I like experimenting. I treat life in a lot of ways like an experiment. That manifests in me trying new diets, that manifests in me trying new workouts, new haircuts, new everything, because I like learning and I'm curious. I'm a really curious guy. Similar to Justin's analogy with reading. If it works for you and you're having fun and you're enjoying and you're learning and it's a good habit that you're cultivating, great. So if I'm curious about new workouts, but no matter what I'm getting in the gym, that's pretty cool. If I'm curious about new sports and no matter what I'm getting a great workout in, I'm going for a run and then the next day biking and then swimming. Well, I guess that's a triathlon. It's a positive and healthy habit, right? So that's something. I'm a biohacker who, shout out Nick Nares, who put me onto this, now eats or takes a beef organ supplement because there's a ton of nutrients in these guys from liver, heart, kidney, pancreas, and spleen. I'm sorry to anybody who is not into animal products. I'm happy to talk to you and hear your thoughts and learn from you.
Did they put that on the bottle?
Supplement.
Did they put that on the bottle?
They put it on the bottle.
Liver,
600
spleen,
milligrams.
ass, like all that.
600 milligrams of each. Yeah, crazy.
Dang.
That is
What about you,
surprising.
Justin?
Thank you.
That's surprising for me. Even I didn't even know that myself that he was doing that. So we got to debrief that at some other juncture. Look, Dylan and I are obviously now the man, and people are like, our fan mail. It's overwhelming my mailbox how much we're getting these days because Next Gen is sick and we're cool and we're growing. And we have a sick company and we raise money and like obviously we're the man now. Number one. We're just getting started, and imagine where we were 10 years ago. So imagine where we were 10 years ago. That's where we're going to be 10 years from now. But what has surprised people is people look at Dylan and I, wow, guys, you're so handsome, successful, humble, smart, visionaries. You guys must be really confident. You guys must wake up in the morning and know you guys have it all figured out. And then I meet with Dylan at our 10 a.m. meeting. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we literally have no idea what we're doing. And Dylan's like, dude, stop exaggerating. You always exaggerate. I'm like, no, bro, I'm telling you, we have to start all over again. He's like, it's just a rebrand. It's not, we're not, nothing has changed except for the whole thing. So we're evolving every day, every day. But we're growing. That's the name of the game. ExchangeQ.com.
Sam, I feel like that reminds me of someone or some relationship in some way. It's pretty funny. Just wanted to put that
Rich
out
has
there.
been saying it from day one. I'll come on a call.
That's pretty funny.
Be depressed. Be like, Rich, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Parker would be like, Sam, stop exaggerating, bro. We're fine. You're being absurd. I'm like, no, I don't feel it anymore. I don't feel it. And then Rich will be like, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to kick your ass. You ready for an ass kicking? And then he'll set me straight. So it sounds like you guys have similar calls with Rich, which glad to hear. I'm not the only one that gets yelled at.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Quite spot on. I love it. Okay, fellas, we are through the rapid fire round, which brings us to the final segment of Elevation Nation and our podcast for the evening. This is something brand new we're trying out, and we absolutely love it. Now, we talked a lot. We got deep. We got introspective. And stripping beyond your next-gen HQ, not facade, persona, thought, brain, I want you to dig deep into your individual hearts right now and come up with what we call your mental motto. Now, this is a motto that you want to live by for the next year, something that embodies who you are and really what you want to strive for in 2022. We're going to share it with Elevation Nation, share it with the world to inspire others to try to be their best and elevate their mental fortitude as well. So, does anyone have one that wants to start us off with their mental motto?
J-Man, happy to dive in. J-Man coming at you from New York City. Y'all, I have two mental mottos for 2022, obviously. 3 mental mottos. Mental motto number 1, go to nextchange.com. Mental motto number 1, go big now. What are you waiting for? Go big now. Go big now. What are you waiting for? Go big now. Now. Go big now. Now is number 2. And number 3, relax. You're doing great. Relax. You're doing great. Go big now. Relax. You're doing great. NextGenHQ.com. Go big now. Relax. You're doing great.
I don't know why, for some reason, that sounded a little bit like the start of a Seinfeld skit, but I liked it. The back and forth between the two, the juxtaposition between both of those, of going big now. Now's the time, right? We got no better time than the present, and why not try to go big? But also, relax. You're doing great. It might not be big yet. Go for it to be big, but take a chill pill every now and then. I like that. I see both sides of your brain working in that statement, Justin, so thank you for that. Dylan, your mental motto,
I mean,
my good sir.
Justin just described the duality of life, right?
Yeah, right.
Go work and be your best, and also love who you are today. That's it. Meet in the middle. Bam. NextGenHQ.com, where it all comes together. Yin and yang, invented by NextGenHQ, trademark. My sentence is I'm going to say it as I say it. Be a man of action. If you're a woman, if you're a person, whoever you are, be a person of action. Don't be someone who sits on the sidelines and watches life happen. Whatever that means to you. Work, business, friendships, relationships, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever that means to you. Take action. Take action. Don't be someone who lets life happen to them. Get in the driver's seat. And I think that is, I'm guilty of it. I'm speaking to myself. I'm telling it to you, Sam, Parker, and Justin, and everybody else. But I'm telling it to Dylan. Be a man of action. And then whatever happens, I'm cool with it because I did my best.
Amazing. You don't want to be on the sideline when the game's getting played.
Give me the ball.
You kind of want to be on the court, partaking, shooting the hoops, missing, making the hoops, celebrating when it's over.
If you're in the game,
Parker.
You're on our team, and our team wins.
Oh, and you're on their team.
Parker, Showtime Lakers, right? Kobe Bryant, crossover, top of the key, drives the lane, sees a diving Shaq, tosses it up. Shaq comes out of nowhere, catches this ball, makes it look like this ball is this size, tosses it down. There were 3 other Lakers on the court who also won because they were on the team. That's cool. They got a ring. They got 3 rings, right? Pretty awesome. Come join the squad.
Wow. It's amazing. Sam, we've got, some good mental mottos. I got a whole book to read. I actually have 2 more books to read because we got the Next Gen book that just came out today. Seriously, was it on Amazon, guys?
On Amazon.
On Amazon.
Now
that's momentum. Check it out.
Boom.
It's like what? $5, $10, whatever it is, you should buy it regardless. If it was $100, you should still buy it. And check out their website. Was it nextgenhq.com? Did I get that right? Yep, thumbs up. nextgenhq.com. We are happy to connect you with these guys, and they would love to talk to you, pitch you even more why you should get into their community, and help you elevate your life through whatever it is you want to elevate. Sam, guys, this was fun. And Sam and I, on behalf of both of us, can't thank you enough, not only for coming on for a conversation now with us, but for the last 3 years, Sam and I have been sparked with momentum to chase our dreams. And I think, and Sam thinks, we both agree wholeheartedly that it started from you two. And from there, we met so many people along the way, mentors, best friends, people we love now, who inspire us each day to keep going and help elevate the next generation of young adults. And so with that, I just wanted to say thank you because you guys are fucking awesome people.
Thank you both. You inspire us more than we could ever say. And the number one way that we know how to show you what you both mean to us is to keep going. Grateful for you both.
Much love, fellas.
Love you guys.
Elevation Nation. Until next week. Peace. Beautiful, guys.